Hi everybody, this is Mama Sue and today we're going to make this beautiful earring here. Isn't that gorgeous? And these are old beads because they came from an old necklace. They're old glass beads. Don't know how they are made, but I thought they were kind of cool and I didn't want to just throw them out. So I threw them together in this earring here. I went with the black metal because the black metal looked better. The black and gold looked much better. I started with silver and gold, but I ended up going right back to the dark metal because it looks so much better. I like the antique metals the best in most jewelry. Anyway, that's what we're making, and believe it or not, what we have on this little tray is all you need for this earring. We've got one little flower spacer bead, two little metal beads, and that's about a size 3 mm. Then we've got, a pretty good size. I don't know how big this would be. Probably around a 12 or something. But this one's an 8. And then so that's got to be at least a 12. But it's oblong too, so I really can't give you a size on that. And then we're going to use one eye pin and one of these pins that has a little ball on the tip of it. A ball tip pin. And then there's your ear wire. You don't necessarily need this. You can always use a flat tip, or you can just wind up the end of the wire into a coil. Let me show you that. You can always wind up a little coil by holding onto your pliers with the soft the round nose pliers, scrunching that in a little bit. A lot of people will cut that off, but I just scrunch it in. You can put a little piece like this and have just a little curl down in the bottom. Let me show you. It'll hold your bead on. I'm just going to show you how that will hold it on. But see, you can put it something like that on there, and then you don't have to worry about it coming off. So that's a simple, easy way to hold that on there. Or you could even twist. You could even make it flat. Just take this and turn it sideways and have it hold the bead on there. You can do that also. There's lots of different things you can do. Most of the time, if I do this, I'll do it this way because I like those round ball tips a lot. But most of the time, I will take this and just put just a little bit of a twist in it, just like that. You see that little bit of a twist in there? Oh, I guess you can. And then I'll take my my other pliers. Hang on just a second. Well, that's not happening. I'll take my I'll just take these. I like to use the wires that have the little teeth in there when I'm doing this because I like it to squash up good. And I'll just squish this up real good into a little tiny round circle like this. And that works really well for one of those round nose. Now, if I put let me smooth this out a little bit so I can show you what I'm doing here. As a matter of fact, I don't need this big a piece of wire. I don't even know why I have it this big. Okay, now this will be better. Now if I put my bead on there, it's going to stay on there. See how that stays on there when I put the bead right on top of that? And it doesn't look bad. It looks very clean. See how clean that looks? So then when you put your other bead on, oops, it doesn't look much different from this one. So you can do either thing. You can do that. This is the only way I like to do the little ball on the tip. If I'm going to make my own, that's the only way I would do it, because that one looks the best. As far as, you know, I mean, I've done them the other way, but I'm still far happier with this one. And it's not going to come out on you. That's for sure. Okay, now we're going to get to putting this thing together. Oh. This is our reference right here. Well, let me lay it down here. Right there. And I'm going to pick up my round nose. I mean, my pliers. Okay, my round nose wire. And I'm going to put one of these gold beads on. Just like that. Then I'm going to put my big one on, because you always start with the bottom and work your way up normally. Well, I do. Some people might go the other way, but I find it much easier for me to do it this way. See there? Isn't that a cute bead? And it's a nice little color. And then I'm going to, I want to make my, I have turned that wire, oh, I just put it around several times on this one. So we don't have to watch too much. I'm just going to take this by the very tip, because I want it just to bend it over. Just like that. Pushing it away from me. Then I'm going to put my pliers back in there, but bring it up a little bit further so I can make my circle bigger. Bring it back toward me. And at this point, I can't go any further down with this wire. So I have to move my pliers up like this and finish going around. Now I've got it where I want it. See there? Now I'm going to check and see if my holes are about the same size. This hole needs to be a little bit bigger. Now if I marked my pliers, I wouldn't have that problem. And if I did them at the same time, that's why I normally like to do my earrings at the same time. I'm learning from having all these videos set up. I'm learning that it's easier to do them at the same time. Okay, now I've got them right where they need to be. So now I'm going to grab onto that circle right there with one of my pliers like this, right over the whole circle. See how I'm covering the whole tip, the whole circle? And I'm going to switch it over to this side, because this is my dominant hand here. And then I'm going to grab my other pliers and I'm going to start winding this wire around the bead. Actually, I can start, if I use this for levitation or just leverage, I can kind of move it around by letting the bead spin. See how how easy that is to spin? Then my finger can like push that wire around. Now once it starts getting too small, I have to grab my pliers and finish up the job, because I just can't get it. Just can't get a hold of it. Now I'm just going to kind of squash it down. Let me see what I got there. Now I'm going to pull this up a little bit. And I want to put them back together again and measure them. Okay, this is, it's just about in a perfect place. Now I'm going to squash this down just a little bit right here because I want that wire nice and firm on there. Not that it's going anywhere because it's done. It's not going to go anywhere. I just want to make sure there's no tip. Oh, and I still do have a tip that's poking me. I need to get a hold of that tip and push it in. There, I got it. Now we've got that part done. The only part we got left is this. So we take our other pin and we're going to put a gold bead, then the blue bead. This is the size 8 millimeter, and then the spacer bead, the flower spacer bead, just like that. Hope you can see that okay. It's so hard to get a good picture. And then now we're going to do the same thing we did on this piece right here. Oop. We're going to spin it around the sides. Hang on to it like we did before. Oop, I haven't turned it yet. Then we'll do it. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to put that near the tip like I did before. See where it is? I'm going to just push it away from me. Just like that. Bring it up and kind of come up some so you make the bigger circle. And then circle. Didn't go all the way, so now we're going to have to move our pliers upward and finish going around. Just like that. See there? Now this is where we are. So now we're going to get a hold of that circle. Then we're going to wind this around and around until we're done. But I want to measure these to each other first to see if the holes are about the same size. Looks like we got everything about the same size, so that's a happy, happy day. I'm having a happy day. Okay, now I am going to get a hold of that circle like I was telling you. Just like that. Move my pliers to my dominant hand. Here's my dominant hand. I keep losing the back of my excuse me. I keep losing the back of my pliers. Oh my goodness. Get a hold of this thing. Now I've got a hold of all of it. Now I'm going to start twisting it around. If I can get a hold of the wire. Now let's just get it around there. Just ring around the rosy. Now we got it like that, and I'm going to squash down that wire. It's going to start going around in a little circle and squashing that thing down. Because I wanted to put the whole thing on here because the reason that I'm making sure the whole wire stays on there instead of cutting some off is because the holes in these beads was really big, and the old beads have big holes in them. That's why I had to use, instead of just using that round wire, the wire with the round tip, I had to put an extra bead on to make sure it stayed where it was. Now there it is. And we'll look at it one more time with this one over here, just to make sure we're still the same size. Now, the reason you do this is to make sure that now this is a perfect size, but this ensures that your earring is going to be the same size as the other one. You're not going to have any long places. Now we're going to open up the back of this one, the part that we started with, the eye pin. We're going to open that up. We're going to stick our bottom right on there, our big bottom bead. Then we are going to close this, moving our beads out of the way, kind of. Well, what did I do? Let me turn that back down. There we go. Now it's on there. Now I want to make sure I've got these even because I pulled it around a little bit. I want to make sure it's laying right. Okay, it's laying very nicely. Okay, now the last thing to do, told you this was going to be an easy one, is we're going to open up this ear wire just like that. Always up, never out. We want to keep this wire as strong as we can. And we don't play with it a lot. And then we stick that right in there and cozy it up and just squash it down. And there's our pretty new earrings, both the same size. And I think these are going to be really fun to wear. Just really different. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go, and I will see you another day. God bless and keep you safe.